Welcome to the show. Today we are here in Leica, Miami, in Miracle Mile with Luis.
Hello.
So nice to be here with you, Luis.
Nice to be here.
And as you guys know, I talk about traditional photography mostly on my channel. So here we'll be talking mostly about that. Leica's, I think, the last manufacturer that came out with a film camera. So even though people still think Leica is mostly digital, it still has a strong focus on film and analog.
Yep. They still produce 3 film cameras. So they have the M7, which is the auto exposure, basically the last in the M series of film cameras, and then they have the MP, which is mechanical perfection, very much the pinnacle of analog. And then you have the MA, which came out 2014. The MA is a modern analog. So it's a stripped down version of the MP. There is no light meter, and it's very much like an M3 and an M2 and an M4 had a child, and they made the MA.
Yeah,
So
I always liked seeing that MA. When it came out, people were like, what are they doing? You know, taking out the light meter. But most people were shooting with MPs and M6s without light meters.
Right.
So I guess it was a smart move for those people that don't want to rely on electronics or anything like that.
It's very much a future-proof camera because there is no electronic and it's all mechanical, kind of like a mechanical watch. So as long as you take care of it, that camera will last you, forever. People are still shooting M2s and M3s, and those cameras are 50, 60 years old, and some of them have never even been cleaned or lubricated. So that's kind of where they went with the MA. They wanted to make one more film camera that would last forever, and that's where that came in.
Apart from that, you guys have lenses that you can use here. First time I walked into this store was a few years back, and I remember one of your coworkers told me that this was not a museum, which I thought was very interesting because the presentation of the store is so clean and so interesting to see as a museum that it does pull people back about asking to try a lens, or how much they're worth, and they're very valuable. So you guys have in-store stock to be used or tested out.
So we have a lot of demo lenses, and the reason for that is kind of like when you walk into an Apple store. Okay, if you can't touch the product and you can't feel the product, you can't fall in love with the product. And what we want you to do is fall in love with the product and kind of understand why it's worth what it's worth. And when you feel that product and you mount it and you look at those photos, the price becomes secondary. It's not really, it doesn't matter at that point. I mean, it is something to think of, but it's feeling it.
It's an investment.
It is an investment.
Leica is probably one of the only brands that every time you buy something, most of the time it goes up in value. We do understand that digital cameras do have a date as technology keeps on advancing, but the lenses and the mechanical bodies just continue going up. They actually say, buy a Leica camera, use it, and if you don't like it, you can always sell it for pretty much what you bought it for, even maybe a bit more if you want to. But that's a good thing about the lenses and all that.
Yeah.
You also carry secondhand on your website. I've seen it before.
We do.
So you guys have a stock, or you go out to the market, people come in?
So people will either trade it in if they want to upgrade. Sometimes it's a matter of, hey, my mom had this from when she was a kid, or my dad had this, or my grandpa had this, and they trade it in because they don't really know what they have. And we love the older stuff as long as it's in good condition and it's in usable condition, because we like to maintain the legacy of Leica even with the older stuff.
Okay. Do you offer repairs, for example, which is a big deal with people on cameras and older cameras? Do you have like a technician that takes care of it? Or?
So we don't have an in-house technician, but we do have 2 trusted affiliates that we work with. Both of them are here in the U.S. One of them even gives you a 1-year warranty after you repair the camera. And it's great to have these people because we can provide that solution for customers who are just getting into Leica, who maybe don't want to buy one, but hey, I just got this as a gift and it's not working, or it doesn't work, or I need to fix it. we become a hub now for this type of customer.
So you provide a service that's not only buying something from you, but you can bring in your gear or inherit it or a gift and just get it repaired, put back in spec and use it. That's nice. Do you also carry film, as you told me?
So we do have film. Basically, about a year ago, we decided to start upping the film. We used to carry Tri-X and HP5, kind of the basic black and white films. It's what people were comfortable with. But I'm an analog shooter myself, and I only shoot film, I think 99% of the time. So I decided to bring in color films like Portra and even specialty films like Cinestill, because I felt like it was needed in the market. Miami's film community is kind of dropping down a little bit, but there are still a lot of film shooters. So all these film shooters feel like they're losing a home. Places down south that used to develop film are no longer developing film. Places that used to carry film are closing down. So we wanted to be kind of a one-stop shop. We'll sell you the film. We partner with a lab, and we'll get the film developed for you, or we can send you there to get the film developed. So we feel that film is very important, especially since we carry 3 film cameras. We feel it's a very, very important thing to maintain. Maybe I'll just go off topic. The biggest reason why I like film is a lot of people say film is dead, but I don't think film is dead. Film's not the primary format or medium of photography. But the reason why I like to call it medium is because if you're painting, not every painter is an acrylic painter, not every painter is a watercolor painter. Painting has different aspects. So just like people shoot large format, people shoot medium format, people shoot digital, people shoot film. It's all of that is to me a medium of photography, which is an art form. And the artist picks the brush, so the artist picks the tool, and that's kind of the way I see it. And we needed to cultivate that here.
So you basically do sell the camera, you sell the lenses, you sell the film, and you develop the film for customers, or you can help them send them over.
Correct.
So you kind of have the whole film, what one needs. Do you have a lab that works on prints if someone wants that? Because that's something that some people don't have the space, like a darkroom's big, and printing sometimes is the best way to show what a film camera can do. Even though scanning's turned into something very easy, and the Pacon's cheap as they used to be really expensive. So do you have someone that you can recommend? Is there someone in Miami?
So we don't have anyone personally that does wet prints, darkroom wet prints. What we do have is the lab that we partner with. They'll do scans on a really high-end scanner, which of course does alter the image a little bit. But they do scan on a high-end Noritsu scanner, and then they'll print C-prints. So they're not doing inkjet; they're still doing the traditional C-print. So some sort of analog photography is still there. It's very much like the early 2000s, late 90s, where you would go to a lab and you would get prints done. It's that level. You can do all types of paper, but nothing wet. So even the universities in the area are stopping their darkrooms. Maybe FIU is the last one to have a darkroom, but everyone else is going digital and inkjet. And I think that's kind of failing the student and failing the community. And I know that there are some people in the talks of maybe having a community darkroom. So that might be in the works.
Last time I came, I did find there was one in Lincoln Road, like a small community, but I don't know if that's still going on.
I don't think so. There used to be a place called the Darkroom, that's out, but there are people that are working on it. So I think that the future, if film does keep growing, which I do think it will, there will be these kind of small local darkrooms, like in Brooklyn. There's one in Brooklyn that is run by the community.
It's in Spain, and you see it in England, and Ilford has the website that helps you find your darkroom, which is also very helpful if you need service. Then I want to change the subject a little bit. You guys offer, not only being a store where it has a gallery like you can see, it has presentations, you have workshops. Tell me a little bit about that. So every month we hold an event in the store. That's kind of our
main thing. It's called the Leica Lounge. And what we'll do is we'll bring in local photographers. They don't have to be Leica photographers. Not everyone's a Leica photographer. So we bring in photographers that are local, either photojournalists or food photographers or architectural photographers, which is the one we just had. And we bring them in to kind of give a community chat about the how photography is now, the future of photography, the past, all of that stuff. So that's called the Leica Lounge. Then we also have workshops where we go away with celebrated photographers. We had a workshop back in January with Constantine Manos. We had one in February or March with Matt Stewart. So you're talking about photographers either Magnum level or similar, running workshops, and what we'll do is we'll go out and we'll shoot with them. We learn from them. It's a 3-4 day thing, and they'll critique and they'll review. So we offer that to people who are Leica photographers and who are not Leica photographers.
And have you ever thought of, I've seen your workshops, they look great, but they are on the higher end workshops. They're like location workshops. Have you ever thought of doing local, maybe a 1 day or a weekend workshop, and also maybe towards film or metering for film or developing your own film, which you do and you know how to do? But I think that, as you say, the FIU is the only last one university here that has that. Maybe the young people who are the ones that are going to continue with this, because we are getting out of the young and starting with the older, and I feel like a lot of people forget to focus towards the young people and offering something more affordable, because I understand the Leica shooter looks like a high end, but the film is still very affordable. Leica bodies that are secondhand or are affordable. And have you ever thought of making smaller workshops for, initiating into film, developing?
So we've talked about it for sure, as far as the analog workshops go, because that's kind of the next logical step. So we brought film back into the store. We partnered with labs. We're doing all that. I think the next step would be maybe a workshop. Workshops tend to be pricier, but we are working on specific workshops. We just started one, not analog, but it is a local workshop. So it's not you travel somewhere, and it's at the lower level. And it filled up. We've made 2. We had to make a second one to pick up the overflow of the first one, and the second one booked up. So, and it is like it's for the Leica Q, which is a popular camera. But what we do offer instead of workshops is we'll go out and we'll do photo walks, and then the photo walks sometimes are sponsored by the Leica Academy. And Leica Academy is the national teaching branch of Leica, and those are free, and you actually get to take a camera out, analog or digital. And if we maybe in the future partnered with them, we could bring something like that.
Selling like analog cameras, as you say, 3 bodies and the lenses all work. So, the M lenses work. So it'd be, a way of feeding, because when I was shooting medium format mostly, I remember I always said when I was too old and I couldn't carry a medium format camera, I would pick up a Leica, because they were, everyone knew they were like probably on the highest quality of photography and film photography. And I remember a friend pushed me to buy a Leica M2, which is beat up. And the moment I got it, I wasn't shooting 35 anymore, because I wasn't wet printing, and I scanned and it was terrible because I had a flat bed scanner. And I remember I got the body, and the moment I put a roll through it, it just became my go-to body. I stopped shooting medium format, and that's been my everyday body ever since. So I think if people got the feel of trying a Leica camera, but forget that it's maybe looks expensive from away, and start embracing the Leica. And of course, the market for secondhanders, they're so well built, is big, and then the lenses, you guys have them, you can try them, you can buy the secondhand from you guys.
I feel like right now is the right time to jump into the analog community, just because it's going to keep going up in price. Cameras like the Contax 645 or the Mamiya 7, these were cameras that 10 years ago they were given away. People didn't want them. People were like, I don't want this Contax 645, get it out. Professional photographers were getting out of it. Even the Hasselblads, which never really lost value, they were a little cheaper.
They were cheaper.
But now cameras are coming up in price, and I think Leica is the last one to be affected by that. Leicas have never really gone down in price because of the prestige and their name. But I feel like these analog cameras are increasing in price a little bit. M2s and M3s in the States, they were going for $500-600 10 years ago, and now they're going for $900 to $1,100. So it's the right time, and I feel like having a place like this where you can touch and feel and see the secondhand stuff is important.
Yeah, if you guys, as you're doing with all the work you're doing on the internet and social media, which you take care of,
Correct.
is such a big community. If it embraces this as a place you can come, buy your film, develop your film, shoot your film, try things, I think it become like a good starting point for most people to continue, which will be future clients for the high-end cameras, which of course, first thing you want to do is, it's hard to buy a new body, so you want to test things out. It's good.
I think another important thing about the store is having someone who shoots analog in the store. We have a lot of people, older customers. So yes, the youth is coming up, and they're the youth, because I'm old now, but the youth is coming up and they're starting to shoot analog, right? But we have a lot of these older customers who shot analog for years, 70 years, okay, or 40 years, or 25 years, depending on how old they are. And they realize that after shooting digital for the last 10 to 15 years, they miss something. So they'll pick up a film camera and they'll come into the store, and I like to be the resource for them. We'll talk, chemicals, we'll talk dev times, we'll talk scanners, we'll talk paper.
Things have changed.
Things have changed.
Because I mean, if you dropped film 10 years ago with the digital boom, of course, brands have lost emulsions, paper, chemicals. I mean, there's still a lot to go, but it's easy to have someone in the store that can help you out.
Right, you have people who used to use Rodinal like religiously, and now Rodinal has been, Agfa doesn't exist, so it's Adox, which is an Agfa kind of off-brand, and these people, they didn't know about it. They would search Agfa Rodinal on the Google, and they couldn't find it. So that's kind of what you're talking about. It's nice to have a modern analog community sprouting out of the store.
And apart from the workshops and Leica Lounge, what else do you offer? I know you have a YouTube channel, which you're working on.
Yeah.
You have a social network like Facebook. You have a forum. You have an Instagram account, Twitter account. So you guys are everywhere.
So we are everywhere. We'll do Instagram. That's the primary. As being a photo company, you want to run on Instagram. Facebook is very informational. So a lot of the events will be on Facebook. We have a newsletter that goes out every month. The first week of the month, we send out a, hey, this is what's going on, or this is what happened, or this is what you got to look forward to, which is important because in a year like this year, which is a Photokina year, it keeps people in the loop. People who don't know when Photokina is, so maybe September 1st, we'll send out a hey, Photokina is coming, or after something is announced at Photokina, boom, this is happening. If Leica brings out a new product, they're very kind of slow on the marketing. They don't want to over-market things. So it's our job to just inform people through our social networks, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Hey, look, this is what's up. And we're growing our internet presence a lot. In the last year, we've expanded the internet presence a huge amount. We're working on videos for YouTube, kind of reviews on cameras that are coming out, or user reviews on, hey, you don't have to use it this way. These are a million other ways you can use it. Cameras like the Leica SL, which have come out to kind of make everyone happy in a broad sense, are being reviewed because you can use them with Nikon, Canon lenses, you can use them with cinema lenses, you can use them with old M lenses, screw mount lenses. So that's the type of stuff that we're working on in the YouTube. And then the forum, which is Red Dot Forum, if you don't mind me throwing that out there. Red Dot Forum is where we show people how to upgrade their firmware. If a new product comes out, we'll detail it and we'll report it there. So it's really like our partner blog / forum that we can.
Well, it all grows towards informing what you guys do. I mean, I know about what's happening here, even though I live in Spain, through the newsletter, which I appreciate. I wish I was here when I hear something interesting. And I haven't checked the forum. I think I did register, but of course, as being away, it's hard. And I try to keep up on the news. Actually, the first thing I heard about that new 50 Apple, which was a silver finish, was from you guys through some other website who linked to you. So I do see that effort on getting the word out of what Leica is, because Leica does have a lot of internet presence, but no one really specifically has it all together. So I guess Leica Miami is trying. So, well, thanks for having me, Luis. It's been a pleasure to talk to you and hear about what Leica Miami is doing. I hope to continue coming like I do every summer to Miami and enjoying the Leica Lounge.
You've been out to events, so I'm glad I'm glad you're able to be a part of this community, even though you're living across the ocean.
And something I have to say in favor of the Leica Lounge is, even though I am would say maybe hardcore exclusive film shooter, I've always come to the Leica Lounge, even though it's mostly not film-based, because of course the bigger amount of photographers out there are not on film now, is that I've always learned something interesting from those Leica Lounges. Last week was Mike Buckler, and it was really interesting, as I love architectural photography, to see how, you know, different people use that. So if you are into film and you are in Miami, apart from checking out the bodies and the film, do try to go to the Leica Lounges. You will probably learn something you didn't think you needed.
First Thursday every month.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
And
it's been a pleasure.
I'll see you in the next video.